Good evening. Buenas noches. First, we would all like to thank our parents, siblings, teachers, and counselors for supporting us throughout our entire academic careers. Y también le doy gracias a mi papá por trabajar todas las horas que trabaja para poder darnos lo mejor. Y a mi mamá por dar todas las vueltas que da para llevarnos a competencias y entrevistas y juntas. Muchas gracias. Los quiero. Last month, I went to an awards ceremony downtown, and one of the hosts asked me what school I was graduating from. I answered, and he responded, "Yikes, I know MacArthur. That's a rough school," implying MacArthur was bad or substandard. I felt embarrassed. On the ride home from the ceremony, I realized that our years at MacArthur have indeed sometimes been rough. Throughout my 4 years here, I've learned just a fraction of the experiences of MacArthur's class of 2018. 1, we are first-generation prospective college students, and we scrambled around to take the SAT, fill out applications, and gather recommendation letters. Our parents didn't help us, not because they didn't want to, but because they couldn't. 2, we are undocumented immigrants who cry ourselves to sleep at night because we don't know whether we'll be able to work in the US after we graduate from college. We joke about la migra because treating la migra seriously would mean acknowledging that our entire life could fall apart with a deportation. 3, we are children of a single mom, and we had to move from apartment complex to apartment complex because the rent just kept getting higher and higher. We sacrificed weekend trips and new clothes and healthy food, and then one day, there was nothing more to sacrifice. 4, we are students who go to academic competitions outside of Aldine, and we feel strange there because everyone else doesn't look like us. It makes us doubt that we can be a great student and a person of color. We wonder if we can only be one of these two. I thought about all of these stories and many more on the drive back home from the awards ceremony. But I also thought about the fact that we're all sitting here, minutes away from walking the stage. We are here because we held ourselves to the highest of standards. The class of 2018 is not defined by the experiences that I just now related. Throughout my 4 years here, I've also learned of the experiences of MacArthur's class of 2018 that reflected solidarity and the time and energy so many people have invested in us. 1, we have parents who we don't really see for days because they're off to work before we even wake up and don't come home until after dusk. But they don't ever complain about working long hours because they immigrated to the US precisely for our future. 2, we had counselors who let us walk into their office unannounced and cry about our lives falling apart. And when they saw us the next day, they asked us if we were doing all right. And then we trusted them enough to say, no. 3, we had a teacher who told us that he actually thinks that he's teaching some of the nation's best, referring to the Producing the Nation's Best banners hanging around MacArthur. And we walked out of his room with tears running down our cheeks because no one else had believed in us like that. Perhaps our MacArthur experience was sometimes rough, but we have been surrounded by people who care about us. Graduating from MacArthur isn't rough. It's empowering. Because despite life happening, you are here. We are here. And not only that, we're going on to college or the military or a technical school or a job. We made no excuses because we had none. And we should continue to hold ourselves to high standards, even if some people around us don't. Especially if people around us don't. Thank you.